Happy Monday. Welcome to Final Expense Telesales. My name is Dana Neeson. Today I am bringing you the results of our very first agent survey. This is called the 2024 Agent Feedback Survey so that we can continue to improve our platform, our process, our offering, and opportunity to make 2025 and beyond even better. And if you are considering joining the Tailored Legacy Telesales team, I wanted to give you inside feedback as to what our agents are saying. So we're going to give you a look behind the curtain of the good, the not so good, the positive and negative things people are saying, because let's face it, no matter where you go, it is not always sunshine and rainbows. But if you have a leadership team that's willing to look at themselves in the mirror and realize that there are things that we could do to improve, and that we are on your side and that we have no team if we don't have successful agents, then I think at the end of the day, that counts for a lot. So I'm going to go over the results here of our agent feedback survey. And then if you stick with me till the end, I'm going to give you the complete walkthrough breakdown that I went over with the team this morning on how selling just 2 policies per day at a $650 AP will put you on a path to earning $100,000 a year. So we have a lot to cover today. I hope you watch the entire video. So we had 49 people respond to this survey, which is about 65% of our total team. So pretty good response rate, although I wish I had 100%. That's okay. I'll take 65. So question number 1, all of them have the same sort of format. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, Tailored Legacy set the appropriate expectations during the interview process, training, and onboarding. And we'll see that about 76% total gave it a 9 or a 10, which is everything I can ask for. I definitely don't think that we're ever going to make 100% of people happy. And there will be a percentage of people that just aren't a good fit, aren't a good match, don't agree with what we do, and that's okay. And so I do expect we're going to have people that answer in a negative way, and that's okay. But for me, I'm happy with this answer. All right, number 2. Adam and Dana care about your short-term and long-term success. As you can see here, 89.8% of the team gave us a 9 or a 10 that we do care about your short-term and long-term success, because of course, if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. And sometimes we do get really laser focused into the back end of stuff, and we're less engaged with the agents on a daily basis, and maybe the perception of that can be like, we're not there, so we don't care. We're always working. I promise you, we are always working. But I'm happy that most people feel that way. The next question has to do with our management team caring about the team's short-term and long-term success, and very similar feedback. About 80% of the team feel that our management team also cares about their short-term and long-term success. I think that's really important when you decide which agency or which IMO you want to contract with. You want to feel like more than just a number, and that the people that are bringing you into this business actually care that you're successful once you're in, right? It's one thing to just recruit you and then they leave you alone, but it's another to, once you're on, feel like we don't go away. So that was important. Next question. The training modules gave me the foundation and information I needed to feel confident to start making calls. This is something we're actually working on improving. So right now our training modules are essentially me going through every part of what to expect, who Lincoln Heritage is, what the FCGS is, how to fill out an application, the different product types that we have, the scripting, the objection handling, as much as I can from a high level view. So at least you have some understanding. We do your onboarding, and then we expect you to start getting on the phones. We will be adding some things to our onboarding, which I'm not going to reveal on this video, but it's really cool and I am really excited about it, and hopefully we'll be live in sometime in the beginning of 2025. So that is going to be improved. I take full advantage of all of the training, both group and one-on-one, that is being offered to me. So you see here, not everybody takes full advantage of the training, which is really interesting. And one of the things I shared with the team is that in this survey, one of the things I failed to do is ask for optional feedback after each question, so that the people who scored 6 and below or 7 and below had the opportunity to tell us why they scored it that way. So I don't have a lot of context behind this. I wish I did, but this is how we learn, right? We fail forward. And next time I do a survey, I will be asking for more specific context, but this at least gives us a baseline. Not everybody takes advantage of the training. That's okay, I guess. All right, next one is I feel like a valued member of the team. So this is interesting, right? Because on one hand, we cared about the short-term and long-term success versus do you feel like a valued member of the team? We still had 60% of the team feel like they're a valued member. Another 13% gave it an 8. And for those that are far below that, I definitely want to do some deep diving to figure out why they feel that way and how I can help solve for that. My learning and confidence dramatically improved because of the agent in training program. If you're unfamiliar with that, we have a training wheels program for all agents that come in at a slightly lower comp, and they are assigned to a management team of 4 right now. And they ask for help on as many sales calls as possible. The management team jumps on and essentially takes over the call and sells it for them. And then the agent gets their full commission while they're learning and listening in real time. So I'm happy with this. Over 60% of people that have gone through that have seen dramatic improvements in their learning through getting that hands-on support. The managers are aligned in the direction and approach when jumping on their calls. I asked this question because, which is also a similar question to the next one, which I'll just skip to really quick. The managers are closely aligned in their sales process compared to what I'm learning from Dana. And so they're very similar questions asked in a different way. It can be a slippery slope when managers jump on calls, and depending on the context of the call, what they've identified, the situation of the client is, how they take it. And, if someone's been selling Final Expense for a really long time, one of my managers has been in the business for 16 years, he may not be following it exactly the way that I teach it. And so that can be confusing for agents. Our number one goal is to get you sales right away. And sometimes that conflicts a little bit with how I teach agents how to sell. And so people are answering in this way because they're like, well, Dana told me to do it this way, but the managers are doing it this way. Which way is right? And it leaves them a little confused and ambiguous. I don't know if there's a solution for that because I can't force people to sell a certain way if it's working for them. I just hope you learn a little bit from each manager, learn from me, make it your own, and you just have the ability to have organic conversations where you're asking questions, uncovering pain, and helping people solve their problems. Skipping down to curious about what people are getting out of one-on-one call reviews from me. Only answer if this applies to you. So it seems like, what is that? 71% of people answered 9 and 10 who get tremendous value from one-on-one coaching calls and call reviews from me. I'm always going to continue to do that and offer that to those who have a certain amount of talk time the week before, and they can book on my calendar the following week. I would like to see other people rotate the lead daily training and lead daily training in addition to Dana. So this was like half and half, right? 50% of people almost wanted it to stay the same, and about 50% of people wanted me to rotate other people in to offer some additional training. So I have solved for this one. Currently, I'm doing new agent training Tuesday, Thursday from 8 to 10, and then advanced training on Wednesdays. And then every Friday now, a different manager will come in and lead training from a different perspective and give some little nuggets outside of what I can offer. So that's starting this week, actually. The optional group training helps me understand the sales process better so I can apply it. That should be a no-brainer. Over 70% answered 9 and 10. So I'm always happy to see that. Now we do pay bonuses for talk time. We have a 5-hour, 6-hour, 7-hour, and 8-hour talk time bonus. You typically need to add 3 hours of work time in order to get the amount of talk time you're looking for. So in order to get a 5-hour talk time bonus, you really need to work an 8-hour day with small breaks, because you have to do your prospecting and waiting for calls while you're waiting to keep people on the phone. And so let's see, we have 44.4% of people feel that it is attainable, which pretty much translates into what we see is currently being reached by agents who are getting talk time bonuses. It's actually a little bit less than that. And what I find when I get people doing one-on-one calls with me and they're concerned that they're putting in an 11-hour day and they're barely getting 4 hours of talk time, is they don't realize how much time they're spending in a wrap-up state or in a pause state, and how much that adds up throughout the entire day. And once I show that to them, they typically do realize that, you know, they really need to be more laser focused in the time they spend on the phones and not have like these 5-minute breaks between calls. So that answers that one. Almost 80% of people do enjoy all the different ways they can earn bonuses here through talk time, weekly submitted AP, and monthly issued AP. All right, so here's where we're starting to get a little bit more nitty gritty. I feel like I have enough opportunity to sell 1 to 2 policies per day. 55% of agents feel like they have enough opportunity to sell 1 to 2 policies per day. And at the end, what I'm going to show you is your earnings opportunity if you sell 2 policies per day with an average AP of 650. I want this to be higher. My goal for sure is to have at least 75% of people feel like they have enough opportunity to sell 1 to 2 policies per day. I'm sure part of the ownership is, you know, on us for only allowing people to come in with 5 states of our 17. Starting in January, I'm toying with the idea of having people come in with 10 of our 17 states, so they have more opportunity when they first start. It is more expensive on their part to do so. So I'm on the fence about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you don't mind. Then we go on to how many people feel like they have enough opportunity to sell 2 to 3, which that goes down to about 40%. And then how many people feel like they have enough to sell 4 plus per day. And this drops down to less than 20%. And I was sharing with the team this morning that, 20% of sales teams usually write 80% of the business. And so this number didn't surprise me. I wasn't expecting people, an overwhelming majority of people, to feel like they had enough opportunity to sell 4 policies a day. Because if it takes at least 2 to 3 hours of talk time to write 1 sale, then in order to sell 4, even if you're a great agent and you sell 1 every 2 hours, that's 8 hours of talk time to sell 4 policies a day, assuming you're not selling a husband and wife on the same call. that's a long day, right? That's like an 11+ hour day, typically to sell 4+ policies per day. I do have agents that are selling a policy every hour of talk time, but that is the very small percentage. Their skill level is very high, and they're probably one of the 9 people that answered that they do feel like they have the opportunity because they're selling more policies in a shorter amount of time. Although, by integrating some of the new things we're going to be implementing in 2025 from a training perspective, I'm hoping that more of these people will answer towards the trend of 8, 9, and 10 as some of those things launch, which I will be keeping secret for now. Over 75% of people feel that we provide them all the tools they need to be successful through scripting, systems, admins, support teams. I was just curious to find out how many people memorize the objections in the first 30 seconds prior to getting on the phones, and about 54% of people did. You should never get on the phones in a telesales environment if you don't have the first 30 seconds objections memorized. If you think that you're going to get your practice on the leads themselves, that is definitely a road to failure for you and for us. So that doesn't make sense for anybody. On a scale of 1 to 10, the lead quality for outbound calls is good enough to get 1 to 3 sales per day. We have about 30% of the agents that feel that the outbound lead quality is good enough to get 1 to 3 sales per day, but we are all over the board here. I would love to have more context for the people that answered 5, 6, 7, and 8. Even an 8 isn't a bad answer. If we were to include that, then we have closer to 45%. And again, a lot of it goes down to skill level. Are you overcoming false objections, or is anybody that's telling you that they're not interested or don't have time right now considered a bad lead? I don't know. Definitely need more context, but it's really good information to have. We do provide transfer calls. We control those all in-house internally. We don't use any third-party call center or anything like that. So what I wanted to know is if the quality of the transfers that we provide, are they good enough to present to at least 40% of them, which is the goal. And we have about 35%, if you count the 8, about 50% of the team feels like that they can present to at least 40% of them, which I want that to be higher, but I'm not entirely disappointed with that number. Okay, I have a realistic opportunity to earn $100,000 a year. So we have about 37%. If you add the 8, more than 50% of the people feel that way. This is part of what I'm going to walk you through. And I think the management team and I identified that the reason that more people don't hit 100,000 in their first year is because they just burn out too soon. Like the idea of putting in an 8-hour day every day, Monday through Friday for 12 months, they just can't do it. They lose their stamina, they lose their ability to stay motivated, and they just burn out and fizzle out. But if you can do that, because that is the job, there is a realistic opportunity, and I will walk you through that here in a second. I did want to know and understand if people felt I was approachable and open to receiving feedback. So about 75% of the team felt that I did, and so that is good. I know that sometimes my stress can come across as a little intimidating, and I'm working on that every day. I believe that Adam and Dana are doing everything they can to always try to improve the opportunity. I mean, that's an overwhelming amount of the team feel that way, so I was happy to see that. And down here we have some feedback that I'm not going to share on this video because people did put in some sensitive information in there. They identified some of them by their names. This whole survey is totally anonymous, and I'm going to keep the 25 responses that we got anonymous as well. But hopefully that gave you a really good idea of what people think is possible on our team besides just hearing it from me. And now I am going to walk you through the slideshow of what I believe is the true earnings potential. Okay, here's the quick slideshow deck that I put together really quickly this morning, and I'm going to go through this with you. Okay, so first year earning potential between the 4 managers and myself, after looking at not just what's possible with the opportunity, but what type of effort agents are putting in and the overwhelming majority of the skill level of most agents that come in, we believe there is a pretty realistic opportunity for the majority of agents out there to earn somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 in their first year. The majority of agents, with the time that they're putting in and the skill level they're bringing to the table, including conversion rates and all other factors. So what I'm going to do is walk you through how much you can earn if you sell 2 policies per day with an average AP of 650. Now, 650 is low from a final expense standpoint. That's $54 a month. I would say industry-wide, the average AP for final expense is probably closer to 900. You'll notice throughout this exercise, I'm using numbers that make the outcome worse, right? So I'm using worst case scenario numbers, and then I will interject with what a more of a normal average is. But I always like to paint the glass half empty so that worst case scenario, you know what is possible. So 650 is a low average. Selling 2 deals a day is what you should strive for, right? But in order to sell 2 deals per day, we have to be on the same page that that's probably going to take 4 to 5 hours of talk time and an 8-hour day, especially when you're new. I am not talking about top performers, okay? I am not talking about the top 20%. This walkthrough is for people with little to no sales experience, who are willing to put in an 8 to 10 hour day, and that's like 80% of the people that are getting into this business. That is who I'm talking to. So 650 times 2 is 1,300 AP. 1,300 times a 5-day work week is 6,500. 6,500 times an average month of 4.3 is 27,950 AP for the month. Okay, that's like our starting point. Now we take this 27,950 and I am automatically going to take off 20% for NTOs. NTOs stands for not taken out. This means that your client did not even make their first payment and nobody got paid. It didn't issue. For Lincoln Heritage standards, they want you to be less than 10%. Our team's NTO percentage right now is between 6 and 7% floating. So 10% is high. I also accounted for credit cards and online banks. There's no advance for those, and the percentage of commission is very low. And so we're just going to act as if you don't even get paid on those because the amount is so insignificant. So I'm taking that 20% off the top, and that brings us to 22,360. All right, and now what I'm going to do is account for 30% of your business will charge back in the first 12 months. This is a very important slide. First of all, our team's persistency score right now is 76%. That means 24% of our business cancels in the first year, not 30. So 30 is a high number to use, but I'd like to use it because telesales is hard. And I would rather you, again, get worst case scenario numbers. The other thing you have to understand about this is that when you get paid a commission, and if your customer cancels or doesn't pay or lapses 6 months later, you just get a prorated chargeback. So if your commission is $500 and they cancel in 6 months, you only pay back $250, right? You don't pay back the full 500. It's a prorated amount for what's left. And so I'm making an assumption here that everything you got paid in a commission, 100% of that is going to be charged back, which is just not correct. So this is very high. Not only is it high from a chargeback percentage, 30%, but it's also assuming that all of your commission will be charged back, which it won't. It'll just be a prorated amount for the remaining months. Hopefully that makes sense. Leave me a comment if it doesn't. Happy to explain that to you again. I'm also putting a note on here at the bottom that it's likely that because we already took out the NTOs, 20,000 will still issue the first month, which is important because we're going to be going back to that. So 15,652 is where we landed last, and we're going to multiply this at a 40% commission. So for clarification, 50% is what our contract is on the free lead program for final expense policies. If your policy goes modified, it's paid at 30%. So we're using an average of a 40% commission. However, it is not an even 50-50 split. The last time I checked the stats for our team, it was a 65-35. So 65% of the business will be paid at the final expense, 50%, 35% of the business is typically modified 30%. So once again, I'm using a very conservative 50% of your business at 40% commission to be conservative on purpose. So that would yield $6,260.80 times 12 months, leaves you with a earnings potential of $75,129. Now, we're not through here yet. We also have a bonus program. We pay bonuses for talk time. We pay bonuses for submitted AP weekly and issued AP monthly. So if someone was writing 6,500 a week, which is what we showed at the beginning here, that does make you eligible for a $175 weekly bonus. 7,500 is $250. 10,000 is a $500 bonus. I'm not even going to use the $175 weekly bonus for this example. I'm just going to use $125, which is the lowest bonus we pay weekly for AP, and that is for submitting at least 3,500 in business. So we're going to use $125, which would equal $500 a month in weekly AP bonuses. We're also going to make an assumption that in order to get 2 deals a day, that you're probably going to be getting 5 hours of talk time. 5 hours of talk time is $50 per day, which is $250 per week, which is $1,000 per month. And I don't know if I put in the monthly AP bonus in here. Let's see if I did. So we're already at $1,500 a month here in bonuses. I didn't do that. Okay, so back to this slide. Earlier I said make a mental note that you're probably going to issue 20,000. Our monthly issued bonuses start at 20,000, which is $500 a month. 30,000 issued is $1,000 a month. 40,000 issued is $1,500 in a month, and then 50,000 issued is $3,000 in a month. So if we assume that with what you're submitting here, you're going to issue 20,000 in a month, that's another $500 bonus. So we have $2,000 in bonuses for the month instead of $1,500. So we take this original $75,129 plus bonuses, which is actually $2,000 a month, not $1,500. But even if we just take that completely out, your earnings potential is $93,129. It would be an extra $6,000 if we added in the month-end bonus, which gets you closer to $100,000. So, but look, this is not easy, right? I just did one more slide that if you were to increase your average AP from 650 to 950, your earnings potential would be closer to 133. But you guys, what I just showed in practice from what we've seen with the years of experience we have with agents onboarding and being on the phones is you think 2 deals a day consistently is easy. And when I was selling, it was. I mean, it was non-negotiable for me to stay on the phones, keep a schedule, not take significant breaks, make this a priority. I was selling 2, 4, 5, 6 deals a day, which got me to Rookie of the Year in my first year. And even though only 300,000 issued, I probably wrote closer to 400 or 450 if you account for NTOs and people that had buyer's remorse the next day and wanted to cancel. So I really now do believe that there's only a small percentage of people that have the work ethic that it takes in order to hit the type of income goals people want. In fact, I'll just share with you in some of the comments that people wrote, they want to be able to show up and work 5 hours a day and make $100,000 a year in their first year. And I'm just going to tell you right now that unless you're a superstar, unless you have, unless you're closing 3 out of every 4 presentations that you get, it's probably not going to happen. And if you know that it's probably not going to happen, if you know that the earnings potential in your first year with little sales experience is probably closer to 60 to 80, and what the opportunity is if you stay consistent, that's going to be the most realistic expectation for what your income is. And if you're looking for a 1099, you don't want to be stuck to a schedule, have to clock in, clock out, ask for time off, all the things that come with being handcuffed to a job, and you just want to have that freedom and flexibility, you still have to know you have to treat it like a job. And that's just what the reality is. So if you have any questions about everything I've just showed you today, if you'd like more information on how to join my team, my contact information is in the description below. I'm very excited for finishing out this year, starting 2025 with some of the new initiatives we have coming down the pipeline. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic sales day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on another video.